At this time, we'll call to order the Board of County Commissioners meeting for the purpose of agenda review for next week. Business session. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Schaefer.
Here.
Commissioner Allen.
Here.
Commissioner Clickham.
Here.
Commissioner Osterhaus.
Here.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Here.
Commissioner Brown's in the room.
Here.
Chairman Eilert.
Here. All are present. We do have a quorum. Would the clerk please read the proposed consent agenda items?
Item number 1, consider approving the February 22, 2018 business session minutes. Item number 2, consider authorizing the purchase of 2 2018 model year ambulances from Pinnacle Emergency Vehicles, LLC, for use by Johnson County MedAct in a net amount not to exceed $382,024 to be paid from the MedAct Equipment Reserve Fund per Houston Galveston Area Council Contract AM 10-16.
Any question about the consent agenda items? All right. Let's continue to the proposed action agenda.
Item number 3, consider authorizing a contract change under Mega Industries Corporation for additional construction work required under the Nelson Solids Handling Improvements Project, Contract 20, in an amount not to exceed $277,485, increasing the total contract to $6,906,486.03.
Ms. Picari.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Susan Picaric with Wastewater. There's no funding requested as part of this item. The board authorized the funding for the solids handling improvement at the Nelson Complex in October of 2015. The Nelson Complex is located in Mission, Kansas. We have a map on your screen here. The purpose of this project was to rehabilitate our critical components of our solids handling system, including the centrifuge equipment. That equipment's located in Building 14 that you see here on the map. The solids are fed to the centrifuge equipment from 2 pipes that extend from the sludge building, and that's noted as Building 9 here on your map. And it's pumped across to Building 14. During the project, the condition of the pipe underneath the main floor of Building 14 was found to be deteriorated. We attempted to make some repairs, and we were unsuccessful on one of those pipes. Therefore, the JCW staff or wastewater staff recommends rerouting that pipe so that it's not underneath the foundation and we won't undermine the foundation due to a leaking pipe. The other thing is we televised the sludge pipe that runs between Building 9 and Building 14, and we found that its condition was deteriorated as well. Both of these pipes are critical to feeding those solids to the centrifuges so that we can dispose of them properly, and we recommend replacing them. Wastewater staff and our design engineer requested cost proposals from the contractor who's performing the work on the solids handling project, that's Mega Industries, so that they could reroute the pipe and replace the 2 pipes between the buildings. They'll perform this work on a time and materials basis for a maximum not to exceed of $277,485. The design engineer and our staff have reviewed those proposals and consider them fair and reasonable. And again, they are going to do that work on time and materials basis. We don't need any additional funding. We still have remaining contingency in the project, but purchasing procedures require that the board approve any change order that exceeds $100,000. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Mr. Ashcraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. McCarrick, thank you for the clarification in terms of why you're before us in terms of the change order. A broader question, though, there have been at least some initial conversations about the future of the Nelson plant and the redevelopment of it or reconfiguration of it, substantial overhaul of it.
Right.
Is this the best option considering we are planning on addressing Nelson substantially and in the long term? I just want to make sure it's not a fix that will be fixed anyway, if that makes sense.
Sure, I understand. The answer is this is something that we need to have to be able to process solids over the next 5, 7, 10 years while we're then working toward replacing the Nelson complex.
Okay.
We have to dispose of the solids, and we only process solids at this treatment plant and one other. The other one doesn't have the capacity to do all the solids.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, well, this will remain on action. Next item.
Item number 4, resolution number 011-18, and application number SEFDP 3370. Consider a request from Phelps Engineering applicant and Joseph Efforts Farms LLC landowner for a final development plan for construction of a motor vehicle test track on a 47.2 acre site located near the northwest corner, 207th Street and Metcalf Avenue.
Jay?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Jay Leipzig, Planning Development Codes Director. This item is brought before you by Joe Efforts. It's for a final development plan. It was unanimously approved by the Southeast Consolidated Zoning Board in their initial inaugural meeting on February 7th. Brought before you, the staff's been working with Mr. Efforts for quite some time to get this plan before you, so we're excited about it. It's consistent with a preliminary development plan that was approved in October of 2015. And give you an idea there of the track itself. It's about 1.5 miles of a track. It's a test track for high performance vehicles on a 47-acre tract.
Okay. This come to us for both approval by the zoning board as well as staff, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. Any questions? Well, this is a planning item, so it will remain on action. Next item.
Item number 5, application number SEPDP 3369. Consider a request from Dan Knight applicant and Mark Calvin Dunn landowner for a preliminary development plan plat for 5 residential lots, Blue River Estates, a 19-acre zone PRU 1A, planned residential urban single-family 1A district.
Jay, I understand the request to continue this item, is that right?
Yes, that is correct, sir. Even though this item was approved by the zoning board and recommended for approval by staff, there was still some additional concerns expressed by some of the neighbors, and the applicant has requested this item be continued until April the 5th to allow time to meet with those property owners.
Okay, so Mr. Jarrett, do we need a motion?
Next week.
It's my understanding the applicant wants this to be heard on April 5, so we would continue this agenda review item until the week before, which would be the 29th, is
March
that right?
29th, that is correct.
You'll have to act next week. It's been published, and so leave it on the agenda. Next week, when it comes up, you will defer it until the April 5th meeting.
Okay, all right, so noted. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So it will remain on action. Next item.
Item number 6, invitation for bid number 2018-009. Consider authorizing a contract with Tandem Paving Company, Inc. for Johnson County Elections Office parking lot improvements in the amount of $676,909.
Just negotiating for us.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Janice Phillips, Facilities. I'm bringing forward this paving project for your consideration of award of contract to Tandem Paving. It's for the Elections Office located at 2101 East Kansas City Road. The project focuses on streamlining and making safe the flow of traffic in and out of the site, with an emphasis on minimizing the interaction between people and cars. The project goal of this separation of vehicular and pedestrian traffic has been accomplished twofold, with a dedicated separate ballot drop-off lane and increased parking at the front entry to the building. The separate ballot drop-off lane allows citizens to quickly enter the site, drop off their ballot, exit the site without ever getting out of their car. In addition to these two safety and efficiency improvements, we have incorporated site drainage, much needed site drainage improvements to the overall site. This project did go through a public bid process. We were very pleased to receive 6 responsive bids. The low bid was reviewed by our design consultant, and he has recommended award of this contract. The project is within our available funds, and we anticipate getting started as soon as possible in order to complete the work prior to the 2018 primaries.
Okay, let me ask you this, couple of questions. We are going to be able to increase the number of parking spaces, is that right?
Minimally, what I think initially when this came before you as a CIP project, that was one of the goals. With new leadership, The focus is on improving efficiency rather than just adding parking stalls to improve the flow of traffic throughout the site. We have done this by working on the west side of the property, and that's the steepest part of the site. So that is where we chose to invest the dollars to try and improve efficiencies and safeties on the site, rather than simply adding parking stalls.
Several years ago, we purchased some property there, which abuts Kansas City Road. Will that be utilized in making these arrangements?
I'm going to invite Donovan Cope with our facilities team to answer that question.
Good morning. Yes, that property that was previously purchased is going to be utilized. If you look at the existing graphic, the entrance to the site is kind of skewed towards the middle of that. In the new design, the entrance to the property slides to the south to more align with the property that was purchased.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Other question? Mr. Klicka?
If possible, could I get a little more explanation of this offline here? The concerns I'm having, to just modify the front of that parking space from Kansas City Road to the building there to allow better access and so forth, at a price tag of $670,000, I'm just scratching my head on that one. When I first saw this, I thought we were actually, when I saw this coming up, I was thinking, well, we're talking about the parking lot that we may be looking at to the, what would that be, to the north or to the other side of the building. But this is just purely a reconfiguration of the existing parking. Am I correct? Or am I seeing this wrong?
I see your point of view, and we'd be happy to meet with you and discuss this.
I'm wondering what's
try
in
to
the
explain
specs
more of
that
the
makes
information.
a regrading and a reframing of a new lot so expensive. So I'm just raising that question.
Mr. Allen?
One of the benefits I see is that you don't have to park and walk up to the building and drop your ballot off, so that conflict goes out.
And I understand that.
That's one advantage I see. So.
I'm just looking at the basic concrete grading, reframing and concrete asphalt of it, and it just seemed fairly high.
Okay. Other questions, Mr. Ashcraft?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One follow-on question, and you know I've had some reservations about this, but the big question is, for this $600,000, $700,000, will it substantially address the choke points that we had experienced with the old building, and you're confident that they will be mitigated, if not eliminated, with this?
Yes, and I'm going to let Donovan point out on this slide here just a little bit. There's two configurations that this is designed for: the non-voting time of year or years, and then voting time. And with this layout, we do have flexibility to administer more traffic control measures so that we have flow in, circulation through, and flow out without crossing each other, which adds to our safety features.
Well, that was part of the original issue, so I appreciate you saying that that's been addressed. That's the big thing. Procedurally, the range of bids does seem to be fairly large. The bottom two are within $100,000. That seems reasonable, but all the way up to almost $1 million is. I mean, silly question, do we have an engineering estimate that we're shooting for, and is the 676 too low for what we think we're going to get, or is that on target? I mean, do we have some basis for that?
We do have some basis for that. We do have an engineer's estimate of probable cost, and it was developed in December of 2017. At the time that the drawings incorporated the change in scope to include the safety and efficiency measures, the engineering company probable cost was $661,500, and the low bid did come in at $676,900. So we feel like it's very much within range of what the engineer's probable cost is.
Very good. Well, that's helpful. I just didn't see that in the briefing sheet and didn't recall it. All I saw was the thing from SK Design Group, and it was rather soft in terms of whether or not it met the cost expectations. So, thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Brown?
Question, was there a bid bond provided as a part of the contractor's package, and will there be a performance bond as a part of the requirement for the project?
Yes and yes.
Okay. Commissioner Ashcraft, that addresses that. If it's low, they're on the hook. They bid it, and they've got a bond posted to secure that number. So that's that. May I ask another question?
Sure.
Have we considered, as you're looking at the picture on the screens, and the same picture I have, from the east edge of the parking lot toward I-35 to the east, there is an angled piece of land that is rough terrain, it's rugged. It's not much value from our perspective for elections. Have we considered, or have we approached the landowner to the north about that? That piece of property, from a visibility standpoint, should be very valuable to that landowner along I-35. Perhaps we could do a swap to create a U-shaped one-way all the way around the election building and not have the pinch point of in and out at one location. Just a thought. It crossed my mind in looking at this picture. I haven't seen this diagram. It crossed my mind looking at it. I think that that would require going back to the drawing board, and I understand you already have bids on the project, but I think that would make more sense. I have a concern about the drop-off ballot boxes being freestanding out on their own from a security standpoint with ballots, that they're on an island standing by themselves, at least overnight, for someone who would drop one off after hours. This may allow for a drop-off directly into the building as you come around on the north side, direct into the building. A couple of thoughts. Thank you.
To the first question, a couple of years ago, there was an opportunity to purchase land, and it was determined that it was the price was too high.
Very high.
Very, very high, yes. So we declined. Yeah.
To purchase, but Mike's talking about a swap.
Maybe a trade for visibility along I-35 for a sliver, not the whole piece, a sliver to get the driveway in.
Get a driveway around there.
Two-lane driveway.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, this will remain on action. Are there any other items?
No, sir.
All right, that concludes our agenda review. We are adjourned from agenda review. We continue in recess from our regular business session, and we will move to executive session and reconvene for the Committee of the Whole at 11 a.m. Thank you all very much.